Tang San pondered for a moment and nodded. You all right then? There's nothing really secretive about it. Some things can't be learned just because you want to. The Tang sect's hidden weapons were famous, and it wasn't as if there had never been attempts to imitate them. Yet, in Tang San's world, the Tang sect had stood for hundreds of years without any counterfeit hidden weapon surpassing the Tang sect's originals. It took 10 years to train an ordinary Tang sect hidden weapon craftsman. Tang San, with his extraordinary talent, had reached the level of a master in mechanical hidden weapon making after more than 20 years of continuous study and practice. The idea of successfully copying such intricate devices was nearly impossible. Ning Rongrong said, That's even better. We don't have to go back first. To be honest, I'm a bit worried that my father won't let me come out again if I go back now. It's a good opportunity to relax since we don't have to train for a while. Xiao Wu, where do you think we should go for fun? Tang San, do you want to come with us? Tang San frowned and said, The teacher has asked everyone to cultivate their spirit power. Rongrong, have you forgotten? Ning Rongrong stuck out her tongue and smiled. It's fine. It's not like I play all the time. Among the Shrek 7 devils, my spirit power is the weakest. I know I need to work hard, but one also needs to relax and combine work with rest. Xiao Wu nodded in agreement. Rongrong is right, Xiao San. Why don't you come out with us for a while? Tang San shook his head. No, I have a lot of things to do. You go ahead. Just be careful. After saying that, he quickly took his leave. It always felt a bit strange being in the girls' dormitory. Tang San had long decided what he would do in the 2 months since they returned. The dangerous encounter in the Stardow Forest made Tang San increasingly aware of his own lack of strength. Although the 8 spider lances gave him a significant advantage against spirit masters of the same level, this advantage would disappear if there was a disparity in levels. Tang San was confident in defeating spirit masters below level 40. Beyond level 40, it would depend on the type and attributes of the opponent's spirit. If the attributes were favorable, he believed he could hold his own with hidden weapons. But if he was restrained by the opponent's attributes, victory would be nearly impossible. The forging equipment Tang San bought from the blacksmith shop had already been delivered to Shrek Academy. Before returning today, he had also ordered a batch of metals from the blacksmith shop. The Do Spirit Battle had earned him over 5,000 gold coins, so purchasing some high-quality metals was no problem. Together with the metals he bought previously, Tang San planned to enhance his armaments over the next 2 months, while also strengthening his hidden weapon techniques. Although Shrek Academy was simple, it was quite spacious. Given the few teachers and students, Tang San had requested an empty room from Flender when the forging equipment arrived. Of course, he had to pay rent. Leaving Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong's dormitory, Tang San went directly to the room he had set up. The building was simple, built of piled rocks. Though not very orderly, it was sturdy and durable, the most common building method for ordinary people. The room was about 30 square meters. It had a forge, a smelting furnace, an anvil for striking, and forging hammers, all of which were rusty from disuse. In one corner of the room, there was a pile of charcoal and various blocks of metal, most of which had not undergone any processing. Tang San quickly tidied up the room. As he grasped the forging hammer, a familiar feeling surged through him. He couldn't help but recall his father teaching him to forge. Though Tang Hao hadn't taught him for long, that period was when Tang San felt closest to his father. He remembered every word Tang Hao said during that time. A true craftsman isn't one who uses divine iron to make divine artifacts, but one who makes divine artifacts from ordinary iron. Tang San murmured his father's words, swinging the forging hammer with the power of his legs. Without any specific target, the forging hammer danced in the room with the force of Tang San's hands, each strike filled with internal energy. The half-turn of his body, the connection between each hammer strike, was impeccable. The internal energy and physical movement made Tang San even more adept at using the disorder-splitting wind hammer technique. Although he wasn't striking any target, the feeling of releasing energy brought him great satisfaction. After swinging 81 times, Tang San finally stopped. His clothes were soaked with sweat. Satisfied, he looked at the forging hammer in his hand, memories of learning to forge with Tang Hao and in the Tang sect flooding his mind, filling him with a myriad of emotions. 13 years old, meaning he had been in this world for 13 years. In this new world, he had gained many things he never had before: family, friendship, martial spirits, and spirit skills. All of these had fully integrated into his soul. Tang San flashed to the pile of metal, striking a piece of refined iron over 1/2 meter in diameter with the forging hammer. The refined iron tilted slightly, and with a light flick of his toe, he flipped the 100-pound piece into his grasp. With his left hand, he caught the refined iron, thinking, Tang sect, an unforgettable mark, I will make you shine in this new world. Placing the refined iron on the forge, Tang San skillfully stacked charcoal, lit it, and worked the bellows. The rhythmic and powerful sound of the bellows echoed in the stone house. Before long, the bright red flames rose, and the forge regained its purpose. Tang San never forgot his father's words and understood why his father said that making divine artifacts from ordinary iron was the mark of a true craftsman. It wasn't just about skill, it was about unwavering determination. Even the most ordinary iron, after tens of thousands of hammer strikes, could become the king of iron. The Tang sect's requirements for hidden weapon craftsmanship were extremely stringent. As a top craftsman of mechanical hidden weapons, Tang San held himself to even higher standards. He would never let a quality issue with a hidden weapon put him in danger. The refined iron glowed red like an enormous ruby, its impurities visible only when it was fully heated. With the forging hammer in hand, Tang San began its dance. The rhythmic and melodic clanging echoed from the stone house. Tang San started his forging. From that day on, except for meals, Tang San didn't even return to his dormitory to sleep. Every day was spent forging non-stop. When tired, he sat and cultivated his spirit power. As soon as he recovered, he resumed his work. No one knew what Tang San was making, not even the Grandmaster. But the Grandmaster never went to his forging room, trusting him completely. He believed Tang San would not neglect his cultivation because of forging. The only person who entered the forging room was Xiao Wu. Every day, Xiao Wu would visit the forging room, silently placing clean clothes, water, and some peeled and pitted fruits, then quietly leaving. It wasn't that she didn't want to talk to Tang San. It was just that since she met him, she had never seen him so devoted to doing something. Tang San's body smelled of metal, covered in iron dust and charcoal stains. Though worried about Tang San's condition, Xiao Wu felt relieved whenever she saw that he had changed into the clean clothes, drunk the water, and eaten the fruit she brought. Day by day, the forging room's clanging grew more frequent. Every day before dawn, it started and continued until nightfall. Even at the dining hall, Tang San was silent, always in a state of deep thought. Dai Mubai had even approached the Grandmaster and Flender about it, but the Grandmaster only said not to disturb him. The deep blue gradually replaced pure black, and a golden thread appeared on the distant horizon, heralding dawn. The forging room door opened, and a person stepped out, with messy hair, an iron-gray face, and a muscular body covered in dirt. He seemed stronger than before, slightly taller. A faint purple hue gleamed in his eyes, exuding a captivating aura. Gazing at the horizon, where the golden thread was expanding, his eyes filled with purple energy. Silently raising his hands, with fists clenched, his muscles tensed like a poised leopard, exuding power and a wild beauty. 49 days. Exactly 49 days. I finally succeeded. Slowly opening his palms, a pair of perfectly round iron balls appeared in his grasp. The iron ball was pitch black, and even under the sunlight, it showed no luster. However, a chilling aura silently emanated from within. In the room behind him, there were 16 identical iron balls. If the other members of the Shrek 7 Devils knew that over the past 2 months, most of his energy had been devoted to crafting these 18 iron balls, they would have been astonished. Tang San picked up the iron ball in his hand and murmured to himself, What's left is just the poison. I really want to make the Buddha's Fury Tang Lotus again, and that unfinished Rainstorm Pear Flower Needles. Unfortunately, the material limitations in this world are too great. With a flick of his wrist, 2 iron balls flew out silently, one to the left and one to the right. They traced 2 arcs in the air before returning to Tang San's hands, spinning continuously in his palms but never colliding. After habitually completing his purple demon eye cultivation, Tang San returned to the forging room. All the metals in the room had disappeared, including those he later bought from the blacksmith shop. With a swipe of his right hand on the table, the 18 iron balls, including the 2 in his hands, vanished into the 24 moonlit bridges. His gaze fell on the only clean chair in the corner of the room, with clean clothes quietly placed on it. Those were delivered by Xiao Wu yesterday. Looking at them, Tang San's eyes couldn't help but show a trace of gentle affection. What Tang San admired most about Xiao Wu was her understanding of what to do at any given time. Usually, she was always cheerful and lively, but when he needed quiet, she wouldn't disturb him at all, silently doing those seemingly insignificant but unforgettable things for him. It was still early in the day, and according to the usual routine, no one would be up at this time at Shrek Academy. Tang San drew some clean water, took a cold shower, cleaned himself thoroughly, and then put on the clean clothes Xiao Wu had brought the day before, feeling instantly refreshed. After tidying up everything, a sense of comfort spread through his body. Tang San raised his right hand in front of him, and a faint blue light emerged from his palm. A blue-silver grass quietly grew, swaying gracefully in his hand. It seems I've improved again, Tang San smiled with joy. For Tang San, the 49 days of forging was a test of physical and mental endurance, not any less than the 2 stages of training they had undergone with the Grandmaster. Every day of continuous forging and thinking exerted as much pressure on his body as weight training. If not for his body's resilience and internal strength, he would not have lasted. However, this daily physical tempering had made his muscles tighter than before. His arms were noticeably thicker, without any extra fat, and his muscles were well defined. His shoulders had become broader, and with every casual movement, the process of his muscles contracting and relaxing was visible. Yet, Tang San's hands remained as slender as before, without any calluses. Not only had his physical strength and spirit power improved, but so had his mysterious jade hand. Tang San estimated that the nearly obsessive forging over these 49 days had increased his spirit power to level 33. Of course, this wasn't just the result of these 2 months' effort. It also had a lot to do with the previous 2 months of training. Advancing another level in less than 4 months was terrifying, especially since breaking through the bottleneck of level 30. For ordinary people, advancing even 1 level in spirit power could take at least half a year of cultivation, or even a year if their aptitude was poor. When Tang San entered the dining hall, he was surprised to find that everyone was already there, having breakfast. In fact, everyone had been getting up early for breakfast for a while now. Tang San, busy with his forging, hadn't noticed. Our Iron Man is here. Wow, why is the Iron Man so clean today? Said Dai Mubai, smiling at Tang San. Dai Mubai was always very proud, and he had the right to be. But in front of Tang San, he couldn't be as proud. Even though Tang San's spirit power was still much lower than his, Dai Mubai knew that if it came to a life-and-death fight, he probably couldn't beat Tang San. Among the Shrek 7 Devils, Tang San had undoubtedly become the most important one. However, Dai Mubai also knew that Tang San's achievements were not just due to his talent. During these 49 days, everyone could hear the almost constant sound of forging. What kind of perseverance did that take? Stimulated by Tang San, not only Dai Mubai, but even the laziest Oscar had been diligently cultivating their spirit power during these days. The Grandmaster had proposed a non-sleeping cultivation method for them, allowing everyone to replace their sleep time with spirit power cultivation. Apart from necessary spirit skill training and physical activities, the remaining time was spent on spirit power cultivation. Although the process was boring, it was undoubtedly very beneficial for improving their strength. During this period, Xiao Wu's spirit power had increased to level 32, and the other spirit power had also significantly improved. Currently, the spirit power levels of the Shrek 7 Devils were Evil-Eyed White Tiger Dai Mubai, 38 level, 3-ring battle spirit elder. Sausage Monopoly Oscar, 31 level, 3-ring tool spirit elder. Thousand Hand Azura Tang San, 33 level, 3-ring battle spirit elder. Evil Fire Phoenix Ma Hongjun, 28 level, 2-ring battle spirit master. Soft Bone Charm Rabbit Xiao Wu, 32 level, 3-ring battle spirit elder. 7 Treasure Glazed Ning Rongrong, 27 level, 2-ring tool spirit master. Netherworld Spirit Cat Zhu Zhu Qing, 28 level, 2-ring battle spirit master. Tang San smiled slightly. I finished my work, so naturally, I'm out. Counting the time, there are only a few days left before we head to Heaven Do Royal Academy. Ning Rongrong curiously asked, Third brother, what good things have you made this time? Show us. Tang San replied, Actually, I didn't make many things during this period, because they were quite complicated to make. Besides a few hidden weapons, I made something practical for everyone. We each have one. Ning Rongrong was overjoyed upon hearing this. The others couldn't help but smile as well. Tang San's requirements for making hidden weapons were almost stringent. The full set of mechanism-type hidden weapons they had received were all exquisitely made. Since Tang San had spent so many days making these, it was evident that the quality would be excellent. Ma Hongjun chuckled, Third brother is the best. Let's see what you've made for us. Xiao Wu glared at Ma Hongjun. What do you mean by sharing the rain and dew? That sounds awful. Little San hasn't even eaten yet. Let him eat first. Ning Rongrong laughed. Xiao Wu cares for third brother the most. Xiao Wu stuck her tongue out at her, then brought the breakfast specially reserved for Tang San to him. Since the Grandmaster arrived, the food at Shrek Academy had greatly improved. Of course, the cost was now covered by the Shrek 7 Devils themselves, but the food remained the same. The Grandmaster had not hidden the Academy's financial situation, and after a month of spirit fights, everyone had plenty of money, so they didn't mind the cost of meals. All right, I'll eat first. After that, we can go outside, and I can show you the things I made. The dining hall is too small. Tang San smiled at Xiao Wu, took his breakfast, and ate heartily. His workload recently had been enormous, and his appetite had increased accordingly. Among the Shrek 7 Devils, he ate the most. Everyone else had almost finished eating, watching Tang San wolf down his food, eagerly anticipating his gifts. Being the center of attention wasn't pleasant, especially while eating. Tang San quickly finished his breakfast and stood up. If you keep watching, I'll get indigestion. Let's go outside, and I'll distribute the items. Xiao Wu naturally took Tang San's bowl and chopsticks to clean them, but Tang San grabbed her hand. Let's clean up later. Let's go outside first. The 7 of them went to the Academy's playground, which was empty, bathed in sunlight. It was early summer, and the central location of Shrek Academy made the mornings quite warm. Little San, show us what you've made, Ning Rongrong said impatiently. Tang San smiled slightly, brushed his right hand over the 24 moonlit bridges, and took out a uniquely shaped item. It was a cylinder entirely made of metal, silver in color, resembling a sleeve arrow but larger and sturdier. To give everyone a clearer view, Tang San rolled up his left sleeve, snapped the cylindrical object open, revealing it split into 2 semicircles with velvet lining on the inside. Tang San strapped the cylindrical object onto his left forearm. Its length perfectly covered his entire arm. He adjusted it slightly, then shook his arm, ensuring the cylinder adhered seamlessly without any wobbling. Even Xiao Wu couldn't help but be curious. Xiao San, what is this? Is it a more powerful wrist arrow? Tang San smiled and shook his head. To be precise, it's a tool. I call it the Flying God Claw. Watch my operation method closely. He pulled out 5 ring-like metal bands from the front end of the Flying God Claw and slipped them onto the fingers of his left hand. As he clenched his fingers, a crisp metallic sound rang out, and a metal spike suddenly shot out, extending just beyond his palm. The spike's tip then exploded open, transforming into a 5-fingered metal claw. Under the sunlight, it gleamed coldly, with the tips of the claws appearing as 5 icy stars. Tang San picked up a stone from the ground. The Flying God Claw is forged from a blend of several metals, repeatedly tempered to become extremely hard, capable of piercing through gold and stone. The metal claw is its most crucial component. When the claw opens and touches a surface, it triggers springs and gears inside, causing the claw to tighten. He brought the stone close to the metal claw. With a soft sound, the claw easily dug into the rock as if piercing through tofu, embedding itself halfway. Tang San explained, after the metal claw latches onto a target, there are 5 operational methods. First, if you extend the index finger wrapped with a metal ring, the claw will release and revert to its original form. Second, if you extend the middle finger, the claw will grip tightly, strong enough to penetrate an inch-thick steel plate. The other 3 methods are for different functions. As he spoke, he extended his middle finger. With a puff of dust, the ordinary stone was crushed into pieces. The other 6 members of the Shrek 7 Devils couldn't help but gulp. They couldn't fathom how such a sturdy steel claw was made. In truth, Tang San wasn't exaggerating when he said it was tempered thousands of times. Once the metal was shaped, even forging hammers couldn't alter its form. Tang San used a considerable amount of soul power, relying on the small hammer from his other spirit to complete it. During the forging process, Tang San discovered some mysteries unique to the small hammer. When the metal came into contact with the seemingly small hammer, it became malleable, making it perfect for crafting hidden weapons. However, it consumed a lot of soul power and stamina, forcing Tang San to meditate to recover. This also contributed to his soul power reaching level 33 during this period. Dai Mubai, intrigued, asked, What other uses does this steel claw have? If it's just this, it seems inferior to my tiger claws. With his current strength, his tiger claws could easily cut through metal and jade. Tang San smiled slightly. Of course, it has more functions. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called the Flying God Claw. Its main use is to help us fly. Although it's not actual flying, as a tool, it's very useful. Watch this, it's the third effect. As he spoke, Tang San retracted the steel claw, then aimed his left arm at a tree about 20 meters away. With a swift motion of his thumb, the steel claw shot out like lightning, embedding itself into the tree trunk in an instant. The claw was connected to a steel cable as thin as a hemp rope. Then, Tang San extended his ring finger, lightly tapped his foot on the ground, and his body flew towards the tree, pulled by the steel cable. With a light tap on the tree trunk, he hung horizontally from it. He flicked his index finger, releasing the steel claw, and after a few leaps, he returned to the group. In certain terrains, the Flying God Claw can be very effective. It can also be used to grab people. The steel cable is 30 meters long and can support a pulling force of about 300 pounds. As long as our weight doesn't exceed 300 pounds, we can use it to climb to certain heights. Each Flying God Claw's internal structure was very complex, made up of many gears and springs. However, for Tang San, this wasn't intricate work. The truly delicate items were the 18 iron balls hidden in the 24 moonlit bridges. Tang San flicked his pinky finger, retracting the steel claw back into the arm guard. With a shake of his wrist, his fingers slipped out of the metal rings, which retracted into the arm guard, making it look like an ordinary steel arm guard again. Ma Hongjun muttered, This is perfect for scaling walls and breaking into houses." Tang San glared at him. Breaking into houses? Fatty, you should watch your weight. If you go over 300 pounds, it won't work for you. Also, when equipping it, you must remove one wrist arrow. Mubai, since your muscles change when you use your spirit, I've added elastic cords to the connections of your flying god claw, so it won't break due to muscle expansion. The other 6 Shrek 7 devils, except Tang San, showed their tacit understanding by extending their right hands towards Tang San. Although the flying god claw didn't seem to have much offensive power, everyone was smart enough to see its potential in certain situations. They needed to familiarize themselves with its use. Tang San handed out 6 flying god claws, custom-made for each of them. Since they were still young and their arms would grow, the connections were made with elastic cords to accommodate changes in arm size. As Dai Mubai played with the flying god claw, he couldn't help but say, Xiao San, I don't know how your brain works, but you come up with such things. Tang San smiled bitterly, thinking to himself that these weren't mere figments of imagination, but the results of Tang Sek's years of research. He just mastered the manufacturing method. Time passed quickly, and the 2-month rest period ended. Shrek Academy, this place that Flender had bought long ago, had no valuable belongings. The teachers didn't oppose the Grandmaster's suggestion. As the agreed time approached, everyone packed up to depart for Heaven Do Imperial Academy. On a sunny day with a clear sky, standing at the academy gate, Flender looked at the somewhat dilapidated sign bearing the name Shrek Academy, feeling a mix of emotions. 20 years. How many 20 years does one have in a lifetime? The memories of every moment here flowed in his heart, a sour feeling rising in his nose. Zhao Wuji patted Flender's shoulder. Don't look back, let's go. It's not like we won't return. If needed, I'll come back with you for retirement. Flender glared at him. Do I look old? Zhao Wuji smiled bitterly. No, we're only 50 years old, not too old. But it's strange that none of us are married. Flender snorted. That's because your standards are too high. Do you know female soul masters only make up 1/10 of all soul masters? Then what about you? Are your standards not high? Why don't you have a wife? Zhao Wuji retorted. Me. Flender was momentarily speechless. When he looked at the Grandmaster, he saw the same bitter expression. They both shook their heads. Let's go, Flender said, giving the order to depart. A group of more than 10 people left Shrek Academy. Heaven Do City, the capital of Heaven Do Empire, located slightly northeast of the Empire Center, was the political core and one of the continent's 2 largest cities. Only the Star Luo Empire's capital could compare. Although the subordinate kingdoms and duchies of the 2 empires were not strictly controlled, the empire's foundations remained strong. Centered around Heaven Do City, the 3 major military districts under Heaven Do Empire's control were nearby, with a total force of over 1 million soldiers. Heaven Do Empire didn't strictly control the subordinate kingdoms for a reason. If war broke out, these kingdoms and duchies would bear the brunt. Of course, this was also an unavoidable measure. No emperor wouldn't want to use imperial power to control everything. However, the current state of the continent didn't allow for unification.